All right, so welcome to Review Test 1, Test Corrections. So this was the test that you took last Friday, not the Friday before. So question number 1, what are the likely long-term effects on ecosystems if greenhouse gas emissions combined with human overexploitation of land continue to increase? So greenhouse gas emissions are bad. Human overexploitation is bad. So that means the answer has to be something bad happens. So an increase of population numbers and species diversity is good. B, a decrease in population numbers and species diversities, that's bad. No long-term effects, that's good. And only temporary effects, while that's bad, is temporary. What they're talking about here is long-term. So the correct answer would be B. Question number 2. So if we look at the pictures, 1984, there are trees. 2004, there's no trees. The figure above shows the same ecosystem in Texas at two different times. Which of the following most likely caused the change of species shown in the figure? Something happened, so the trees are gone. All right, there's no parking lot, so that obviously is not it. Passing through of a glacier. I had so many kids that answer this one, y'all. There are no glaciers in Texas. It's Texas. Think about it. It's 80 degrees outside today. Glaciers, not going to make it. C, preservation of habitat. Preservation means that somebody went in and did something good to try to save it. Not C. D, occurrence of a forest fire. Forest fires burn down trees, so that might be it. So the correct answer is D. Okay, question number 3. The image shows devastation brought on by Hurricane Ike on the coast of Texas. If you notice, there's like debris in the picture. Houses are flooded. Some of them are okay, but those aren't. They're in pieces. Hurricane Ike crashed into the coast of Texas in 2008, drastically changing the regional landscape and disrupting local ecosystems. Over time, ecological succession will occur, affecting species, populations, and diversity. Which outcomes describe how the local ecosystem may change due to ecological succession? Select 2 correct answers. A, new plant species will begin to grow in areas where vegetation was destroyed. Okay. So new plant species would grow into new areas coming on. B, animal populations will change as some species leave and others move in. That's a possibility. The ocean will permanently flood the area, preventing plant growth. No, that was a flood, so the water would go back out. D, the land will return to exact previous state within a few weeks. Absolutely not with that damage. E, the damaged ecosystem will no longer support any plant or animal life. That's, as we saw from that Land After People video, plant and animal life is always going to be around. So that leaves us with A and B as your correct answers. Question 4. In northern Canada, a glacier slowly melts over the years and its boundaries decrease. As scientists come to the area to observe what is happening, what will they find? All right, so when a glacier goes away, there's nothing there. Like it scrapes it down to the rock. So that is going to be primary succession, because we never talked about glacier succession and we never talked about sub-zero succession, because those aren't things when it comes to succession. So it has to be primary because there's no soil. Question number 5. Which trophic level is represented by buttercups, oak trees, and wheat? A lot of people got messed up with that, but these are all plants, so they are all producers. And if you misspelled that word, I went back in and gave you credit for attempting it. All right, question 6. Organisms can take multiple roles within an ecosystem. Which organism in the food web is considered a primary and secondary consumer? So that means it eats both plants and then it's a second level consumer, which means it eats the things that eat the plants. So we need to see what eats plants and what also eats insects, but it has to have the little ring around it because that means you can click on it in the actual test. Okay, so berries are producers. Cougars only eat meat, so it's not a primary consumer. Ants don't show to eat anything, So that leaves us woodpeckers, which eat plants and eat consumers. So a woodpecker would be your correct answer there. Oh, sorry, wren was over here, but it only eats insects. It doesn't eat any plants. So the woodpecker is the only one that eats a plant and a consumer. Question 7. Choose the organism that would benefit most from an increase in grasshoppers. Well, let's see what eats grasshoppers. So we follow the arrows. So this arrow comes over here to the lizard. So the lizard would benefit the most because it would be fat and happy because it had lots to eat. Question 8. Mushrooms are decomposers for most North Texas food chains. Which description best describes how mushrooms would be incorporated into the food chain? Okay, all the tertiary consumers, third level consumers, would have an arrow pointing at the mushrooms because tertiary consumers are at the top of the food chain and transfer their energy to the decomposers. That would be true because nothing eats but tertiary consumers are not always at the top of the food chain. So, because we have 1, 2, 3, 4, that's quaternary, those big science words, but just 4. Okay, B, all the producers will have an arrow pointing to the mushroom because decomposers receive their energy only from producers. Nope, they will decompose anything that dies. C, all the organisms will have an arrow pointing to the mushrooms because decomposers receive their energy from all living things. That's true because they die. Or D, an arrow will point from the mushroom to the primary consumers because primary consumers are herbivores and eat mushrooms for energy. All right. Yeah, but that is technically true, but C is the more correcter answer. And I know y'all hate questions like that, and that's why I threw this in here. Mushrooms are dangerous to eat, and so there's not a lot of organisms that will eat mushrooms because some mushrooms can kill you, some mushrooms can make you feel like you've lost your mind, and then some mushrooms people say they're good. Personally, I think you treat fungus, you don't eat fungus. So let's go to question 9. Okay, so this one had 2 different drag and drops, so you really had to pay attention to the columns to see what was going on. So sexual reproduction has 2 parents, and that means they're different. Asexual reproduction has 1 parent, and that means it's the same or identical, and that was the word we were looking for on those tax cards. So you would type in 1, different, 2, identical. Question 10. Which of the following are accurate statements about reproduction? Select 2 correct answers. Again, about half y'all only picked 1. Okay, so following accurate statements about reproduction. Offspring of sexual reproductions have 1 parent. Nope. Offspring of asexual reproduction are identical to the parent. Yep, so B is an answer. Offspring of sexual reproduction has a unique set of traits that are a combination of the parent's DNA. C is the correct answer. Offspring of asexual reproduction are copies of 2 parents. Nope. Offspring of sexual reproduction go through binary fission, creating new offspring. That one's incorrect. So it is C and B. B and C. Question 11. A group of students are working together to create statements that accurately describe sexual reproduction. Choose the correct answer from each drop-down menu to complete the statement. Sexual reproduction offers offspring with a higher chance of genetic variation, because remember there's 2 parents given DNA, allowing organisms to adapt to a changing environment. In this type of reproduction, the offspring has a mix of genes from both parents. Okay, question 12, your final question. A group of students created a series of flashcards related to the characteristics of sexual and asexual reproduction. The group is now trying to sort the cards into their correct categories. Which of the following flashcards would the students place in the asexual reproduction column? Select 2 correct answers. Okay, so we're looking for asexual, so 1 parents and identical. So 1 parent organism is involved, so the middle card. Offspring is genetically unique compared to other members of the species. Offspring is genetically identical. to other members of the species. So it'd be this one right here, and then this one. These would be your two. So you would type in one parent and identical into the question and answer box. All right, so I will talk to y'all later, and don't forget to move on to your other test corrections so we can get these grades fixed before the end of the 6 weeks. Thank y'all. Bye.